Moving on to the weekend's Tailteann Cup preliminary round games, we had Westmeath 3-26, Laois 1-15. Very, very dominant win in the end from Westmeath. You do Loughlin there scoring 1-2. Ronan Wallace with 1-5 as well. Sam McCartan with 8 points. Dominant victory in the end for Westmeath. I thought this would have been closer, to be honest with you. I think I even predicted a Laois win going into this. I thought they'd be able to kind of cause the surprise here, but no, Westmeath, they put them to the sword here big time.
To say that your number 7 and your number 6 got 113 between them is absolutely monstrous, isn't it? It really is. And it just epitomises the big players in big games that Ronan Wallace and Sam McCartan are. Like, they are really, really good players. I've seen the flesh obviously in Super Friday Parky Keeve earlier this year as well. Ronan Wallace was a major turn from centre back. Sam McCartan is a real serious 2-point kicker, and he really is a turn at wing back. And Luke Loughlin only scored 1-2 in this game. It does prove a very good thing from Dermot McCabe's point of view that there are more players around the team that can offer scores for the team, which is a good sign of any team. And Matthew Whittaker as well, a real fan of him, 1-1 from play as well. A really young player coming into the team for Westmeath. And as for McCabe, and Seamus epitomised brilliantly, he said about them losing games in Division 2, obviously drawing one the game against Roscommon, but losing the games will lose them narrowly. It's almost like they're doing leaving cert maths and they're doing all the workings correct, but they just come up with the wrong answer at the last particular moment. But it's positive signs. You're getting somewhere. And Westmeath, I think, are on a one-way ticket to the Tailteann Cup. They play Wicklow now in the quarter-final as well, which it will be a tough game at Ockram. That would be, a monstrous kind of game for them. And they lost to Wicklow in the Leinster Championship last year, so they will not be taken lightly whatsoever. And Ocean McConville's done a good job there. But out of the sides that they could have faced, Kildare, Forbana being the others, I think they would be happy with that draw. So Dermot McCabe will be happy going into that quarter-final next weekend. And look, it was a good win for Westmeath. As for Laois, bit of a disappointing season, wasn't it? Not doing well in Division 3, mid-table, not really close to promotion, and then falling as they did against Louth, which I actually thought they'd probably beat Louth in the quarterfinal with Sam Roy being out and things like that. But Laois didn't do that. They didn't take their opportunity there. Losing games to Wicklow in the Tailteann Cup and then getting hammered by Westmeath. I think it's been a disappointing season for Justin McNulty. Obviously, they have next season again to develop again. But look, disappointing season for Laois. They'll have to brush themselves down for next year.
Yeah, Peter says Laois in serious bother, and Dublin is great. Laois were very disappointing. Like I seen, I think Colin Parkinson's tweet from Smaller Fish GA saying that was one of the worst weekends in Laois GA history. With the fact of how poorly they were beaten here, and obviously the Joe McDonough Cup final as well. So, Laois is definitely a county at the moment that does seem to be struggling. Look, they got the back-to-back Joe McDonough Cup finals. I think they can get back there again next year in hurling. But there does seem to be a lot of issues, even at underage as well. Like Laois are a county that doesn't really ever seem to do anything. So it's definitely something that does need to be looked at, I think, over the next few years. You'd Offaly 225, New York 112, an expected win. Again, with a lot of these Tailteann Cup games, a lot more one-sided than we would have expected. Maybe I thought New York would have been able to put up a bit more of a fight, but in fairness, it was a tough game for New York. They probably would have been hoping to have drawn someone else here. To be drawn against one of the contenders for this tournament, it was always going to be tough for them.
It was, and the scoreline as well. New York 112, Dillon Highland 112, which was really an interesting stat there. But
the population of one man with 112, and the population of what? I don't know what the population of New York is.
Jeez, so you do be a lot of counting, Aaron. But look, what a performance by Dillon. 3 2-pointers, I think 1 free as well. Like, he was absolutely brilliant. 1-7 for play as well. Obviously he got his goal probably as the lighter side of variety. He was fisting for a point, and then he came back to him, and it was a tap-in at the end. But look, all of them count. It was a very good display from him. Jordan Hayes with 4 points, and Roy Mattenby off the bench with 1-2 as well. So good display for Offaly. Look, they got the job done. It could have been a banana skin for them. They got over it. Then move on to the next game now, which is a really tasty tie against Kildare. Again, not being shown, which is absolutely scandalous, really. I'm not sure why it isn't really, but look, it is a mouth-watering game. Both sides played some very good football in the Division 3 final. Offaly beaten Kildare twice this season. Could they make it a third time? We'll have to see in the next few weeks. But genuinely, I think Kildare and Offaly would have been probably the two favourites to win the competition. They're in Division 2 next season, and they're playing each other in the quarter-final. I don't think many people would have said that before the ball was even kicked into Tailteann. But look, they'll be happy with this win, Offaly, but they've bigger fish to fry next week.
Yeah, absolutely. The fact the game isn't being shown is absolutely crazy. In fairness, like, I mean, it's the top two teams, top two seeds, basically. When you look at it, two sides will be in Division 2. It's crazy that they haven't picked that game. But Sligo 127, Carlow 219. Sligo come through it in the end. I heard most of the damage was done in the first half from Sligo, and really Carlow were just trying to keep themselves in it after that. Couple of goals in the second half to kind of bring themselves back in it, but in the end, big win for Sligo, and a needed win as well to get them into the quarters.
Yeah, very good win for Sligo, and Luke Carlo battled back into it in fairness in the second half. Goals in from cornerback by Paddy McDonald, so good for him from cornerback to get 2 goals there. But look, what a performance by some of the Sligo players. Niall Murphy with 8 points, Alan McLaughlin won 3, Alan Riley with 4 points, Paddy O'Connor with 4 points, and 2 points from midfield. So look, it was a good display from Sligo. They do have players that can hurt any defence. Pat Spillane Jr. says hello. Like, he is a really good player and has shown it for Sligo this season. And Sligo are one of the favourites for this competition. They play against Fermanagh, which is a tie that they won't fear, considering Fermanagh how unseriously they've taken this competition over the last few seasons. I know it's at Brewster Park, but it is a difficult game nonetheless. But at the same time, Sligo will definitely fancy their chances in overturning that Fermanagh team. A good win for Sligo. Again, bigger fish to fry, obviously, next week against Fermanagh, but they are still one of the favourites to go on and win this competition. They do have serious talent in the forwards, and ever since probably the end of the Alliance League campaign, they've built up a bit of form. They've only lost games, I think, to Mayo, obviously. That's a higher opposition in Connacht, and Kildare, they could lose. They could have lost Kildare anytime, considering the confidence that Brian Flanagan has built in the Kildare team. So those are no misdemeanors at all from a Sligo point of view. So they're going well. They are going well, and they'll fancy their chances at having a crack off Fermanagh.
Yeah, and then in the last game, Wexford 523, Antrim 221. Do you know, when I seen the score, I nearly had to double check. I wasn't looking at a hurling game between Wexford and Antrim, because it's a very familiar looking scoreline from a Leinster hurling championship game. But Wexford come through it, a lot more dominance than I would have expected. Again, running trend of a lot of these games, like an 11-point win there. Ben Brosnan still doing the business. 1-2 from him, 2-3 from Sean Nolan, and Wexford are quietly maybe like dark horses for this competition.
Maybe so. Like, Sean Nolan again, superb with 2 goals and 3 points, 2 players, according to Scorpio. Ben Brosnan with 1-2 as well. How that guy is still going hard. I remember him in the 2011 Leinster final against Dublin. He was one of the main players with the bleached blonde hair, but he still is going. 37 years of age, what I heard. Like, he's just absolute specimen of footballer. Mark Rossiter with 1-1 as well. Robbie Brooks also got a goal to this one from an Antrim side. To be fair to them, Dominic McInerney with 1-4. Ryan McQuillan, I was impressed with him against Armagh in the Ulster Championship when it was on BBC Northern Ireland, and he didn't press a disc with 5 points in play. Interesting enough, the goalkeepers, Dar Brooks got 6 points and Michael Byrne got 7, 13 between them. Obviously, that's the modern game. A lot of 2-pointed frees there for both goalkeepers there. So, look, that is the modern game. Antrim would still go out with their head high, I would say, in terms of the competition this season. They have done brilliantly in getting to this stage of the Tailteann Cup, but they did do well against Armagh in the Ulster Championship. Maybe a lot to build on for Andy McAdee if he is still there next season. As for Wexford, they play against Limerick in the quarter-final. That's still going to be a difficult game. I have seen Limerick in the flesh against Cork. They are a decent side with the looks of James Naughton there, Emmett Richter, Ian Corbett, and Jimmy Lee seems to be doing well with this Limerick side. And Limerick did beat Wexford in Croke Park in the Division 4 final. So that will be an evenly matched quarter-final. I would still fancy Limerick just about. Maybe it's my Munster bias kicking in, but Wexford definitely will fancy their chances and get to the semi-final.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose the last thing we'll mention then before we finish up is the Tailteann Cup quarter-final draw. So it's Fermanagh versus Sligo, Wicklow versus Westmeath, Kildare versus Offaly, and Limerick versus Wexford. So interesting enough, you have a repeat of the Division 3 final and you have a repeat of the Division 4 final there. So interesting draws that have been made there. If you have to call it now, who wins the Tailteann Cup, do you think?
Jeez, so the semi-finals are an open draw, so it's hard to know at this stage. I think Sligo will be Fermanagh. I think Westmeath will be Wicklow. I think Limerick will be Wexford. Kildare Offaly is a toss of a coin. It really is. I'm going to say Kildare will edge it their own. I'm going to say Kildare will edge that game and get through to the semis. So then it's between Sligo, Westmeath, Kildare, Limerick. It's a tough one. It really is. I think I'm going to go Kildare to win it. Westmeath, if the draw goes according to plan, I think Westmeath and Kildare get to the final, and I think Kildare edges in that final.
Yeah, I agree with you as well. I think Kildare have the biggest depth in their panel. I think they've the best team. I think the draw has probably actually worked out for them as well. The fact that they get Offaly at home as well, not playing them in Croke Park. You know that way. But I have a funny feeling about Limerick as well, though. Like I think genuinely, like they're quietly just kind of going along. They've been promoted from Division 4. They beat Wexford in the Division 4 final, so they're certainly not going to fear Wexford this weekend. They beat Westmeath once already as well. So Limerick are definitely there, and they're a team that I could potentially see get to a final. But I do agree with you as well. I think Kildare will have enough, especially having Daniel Flynn back in the ranks now as well. I think is huge from a Kildare perspective. But do let us know in the comments, anyone who's watching or tuning in, do let us know your opinion on the Tailteann Cup. Who do you think is the favourites? Who do you think is going to win it? And do let us know your opinions on what we discussed in relation to the weekend's hurling games as well. Liam says, how dare you, Matthew? So not too happy about the predictions there. But cheers anyone who tuned in. And until the next one, we'll speak to you all later.